Welcome back to the channel, guys. Whiskey I've been looking to do for a while. Went through about 3 or 4 bottles of this before I decided, hey, we got to do a review on old Compass Box Artist Blend. They changed the label up from the last one I've got. The first whiskey I got, it was Great King Street, they called it, and had a picture of the city in the back. But they changed the label up, same whiskey. That's what we got today, guys. Check it out. Compass Box Artist Blend. So, coming from Scotland, John Glazier, American, moves to Scotland, starts making whiskey. There's no distillery, but they are really good at blending whiskey. So they take whiskeys from different distilleries and blend it together. And these bottles sell off the shelf, you know. But I've never, most of the whiskey they make is blended malt. This one happens to be an actual blend, kind of like Johnny Walker and Dewar's and all the blended whiskey out there that come to the United States and all over the world. This one, this is one of the better ones. So most blended whiskeys, you're looking at composition of malt versus grain and everything that goes into the whiskey. So the malt is more the expensive part of the whiskey, where most blended, they'll have more grain than malt. So I actually have this written because I'm not going to remember all this stuff. I looked up a while back the composition of Artist Blend, this actual bottle of Compass Box. So the Artist Blend has grain whiskey in it. It's not all just blended malt like most of their whiskeys. But 45% is Cambridge first fill grain. So that's the only grain whiskey in it. It's first fill grain whiskey from Cambridge Distillery. So the other 55% is all malt. So most of the whiskey is single malt. Just that 45%, is a little bit under half is grain whiskey. 22% Linkwood first fill bourbon. 10% Balminic distillery malt, single malt. 10% Klein Leach first fill bourbon. 5% Linkwood sherry butt. And 8% Highland single malt blend. So that's what you got. If you go to the website, there's a QRC code that you scan on here. It'll bring you to the website, and you can look up what's in every whiskey that they make. Very transparent company. Well, that's the good thing about it. That's what everybody likes about Compass Box. Transparency. They tell you what's in the whiskeys, and that's it. So let's get into the nose, guys. Color on it, first off, pretty much pale. It looks like grape juice, actually. It's pretty pale whiskey. But let's get into the nose. So the first time I had this, I'm not going to say it changed. Maybe I just wasn't observant the first time. When I first bought this whiskey, we were like getting into whiskey. I enjoyed it, but I get more out of it now, but I pick up on things also. But if you've ever get into like a single malt whiskey, I get most of that from it. You get fruits. I get light fruits right off the bat. There's floral tones to it. Light fruits. Almost like a pear. Grassy notes also. But there's also like a rawness to it that I didn't pick up the first time I had it. And it's going to sound bad, but I went to a pool. When I was growing up, my mom used to bring us to this public pool, and you change in the locker room before you go in. You smell the chlorine and the pool stuff. That's what this smells like. It's very hint of that in here. And I want to say it's the grain whiskey portion of the whiskey. Kind of off-putting, almost like a limestone, kind of chlorine limestone, which is weird in a whiskey, but it's not bad. It sounds bad, but it's not bad. It's interesting. Let's get into the flavor, guys. Cheers. So on the flavor, straight fresh fruit right away. So pear, apple, almost green apple a little bit. Lots of floral notes, but it's complex for a blended whiskey. You get ginger, spice, not real spicy, but I think that's the main spice you get, I think, in here is ginger. So not a whole lot of cinnamons and bacon spices. You don't really get a whole lot of bacon spices that you would get from, say, bourbon or some like first fill bourbon scotch. You just get mostly ginger, a little bit of tart. Let's get another taste, guys. That's the first thing. It's sweet. It's a sweeter whiskey, um, but it's got a good complexity to it for something that Compass Box. Whenever they put this out, you can read the back label. I'm not going to get into the whole thing because they have a lot in the back. They pretty much made it to be a versatile whiskey where you can use this as I'm drinking it. I mostly drink everything neat. You could probably put a little ice with it if you wanted to. But it's also made as a mixer. You can actually do a mixed drink with it, make like a summer cocktail. This comes off to me as like very summery kind of springtime whiskey. But sitting outside right now, it's like, even over here in Arkansas, it's like 80 something, 90 something degrees. Right now, it's probably dead heat of starting to be summer, and it's probably like a good 92 out there. It's probably even hotter than Louisiana, I'm sure, with more humidity, but it's hot to be sitting out there with a whiskey. But drop some ice in it, you might want to do a cocktail other than sitting outside and having a neat pour of your favorite whiskey. But they've made that for that. They made that for to have a cocktails or just to drink it any way you want. Today in the air conditioner we having it as neat, but you can do whatever you want to do with it. Yeah, oh, that ginger does come in there mid palate. Brings a slight little tinge to it. I wouldn't even say heat. It's good. Brings like a little tart, sweet and sour kind of vibe with it. But mostly mostly it's fresh fruits. Right whenever you first taste it, fresh fruits, floral, and then you getting that sweet and sour kind of component when that ginger comes mid palate. Very little oak on it, but it is like a very toasted oak on the very end. But it's really good whiskey. Price point on this is where it's going to sell. So 30 to 35 bucks. I remember at one point with whiskey going up, there's a big whiskey boom that happened. It's actually starting to slow down, but it was 20 something bucks. I want to say I picked this up a while back it was 25 or $26. Now it's probably, when I seen it in the store, it was 50 bucks, but it was 45. So it's slowly going up in price. And I think right now you could actually get them online for 35, but then you got to pay shipping costs. But that's what we got with that Artist Blend Compass Box. It says fruity, creamy, and rich. It is. It's got. I wouldn't say it's rich. It doesn't have a very strong density to it. It's more lighter, but whatever there is good. It's complex. So Couyons whiskey rating on this one. I tried it in the past. I did make notes on it in the past, and I looked up what score I gave, and I gave it a 7 out of 10. That's right about right. So 6.5, 7 out of 10 is what you're really going to get for that one. It falls right in the middle, but I think it's what they intended it to be. It's not meant to be like the best blended malt you've ever had in your life. It's not meant to be the best. It'll probably be the best blended malt, but it's not meant to compete with single malts, and it won't. Because I remember one time I was sitting down and we were watching a movie. I was just drinking some single malt at the time. I don't know if it was Benriach or Glengoyne or something. I was having some single malt, and then I went to this after. I was like, let me go pull a bottle off, try something else, poured this Compass Box, and you immediately taste the grain whiskey in it. And that's what came out shining was that limestone kind of really earthy limestone taste, almost like dirt taste. And I think that's the grain whiskey in it. But I haven't had, this is the first drink I had today. It comes out, but it doesn't come out as strong as if you have like a single malt or even a bourbon first. you get that graininess in this whiskey. But all in all, it's still good. Like, I'm still giving it a 7 out of 10. So as far as the channel wise, we haven't been able to get to making whiskey reviews as much as we wanted to. Everybody's busy with just work, life in general. I know Ryan talked about he needs to find time to make videos and stuff like that. It's hard to find time to make videos, but we got a lot of whiskeys. We just need to find time to do reviews. But that's what we got today, guys, with the Compass Box. And look forward for other reviews in the future. Hit that like button if you like content we're putting out, and we'll see you guys in the next video.